morning. Ocholi Okutepa is my name. I'm excited to talk to you again this morning. All right, first things first that I must emphasize to you is that a good marriage is possible. You know, very often it seems like we are forced to write so much about what not to do because people are doing so much of what they should not do. But we also try our best to make sure we balance the narrative to show people that we're not just always warning, but we can also present a good picture. Now, I don't want to pretend to you about the truth. You know, I'm just going to tell you as it is. You know, the fear is real. The concern is real. The narrative is really, really bad for a lot of people. But we cannot make the mistake that the prophet made when he said, God, I'm the only one. Say, no, I have 700 who have not bowed to bow in caves, worshiping me. You know, the story is not as bad as it's presented. You know, there are people making it. So I'm just going to say a little bit about my story. All right. I'm first child of a family of 8 children. My parents were separated when I was 8, divorced when I was 10. I've had 4 mothers in total in my life. You know, when I was getting married, Julia, I said to her, I've not had the opportunity of family. You're my chance at it, and I'm not going to blow it. A lot of people very often don't even understand that people make their choices to redefine their life because it doesn't matter where you're coming from. What matters is what you are creating. So that the narrative of where you're coming from or what you have experienced in life or what's the common tale does not become your reality. That's what a lot of people don't get. That's the perspective I want to pass to you. That's the perspective I want you to come into. You know, so I realized very early that my choices would create my own life or create my own reality. So that reality is not imposed on me by anybody's doing. You know, some of us are still living in the blame game. We are blaming everything for being where we are. You are blaming even your ex. You are blaming your ex-ex. You are blaming everybody. Let me be honest with you. Marriages that work or marriages that fail are a consequence of people's choices. The moment you realize that, you begin to take control of your own destiny. And one of the ways you begin to take control of your destiny is that you will learn to take control of your emotion. You know, so I knew to myself that I wasn't just going to be moved by anything that moves. That's the mistake people make because they are not strong on the basis of their choice. That's why I'm talking to people, single people, and I'm always emphatic when I speak to single people. Be so emphatic, be so firm on your minimum standard that it doesn't matter how good a person is if they don't meet certain minimum standard. Let me be honest with you. I wasn't getting married with the mindset that I'll be out. I wasn't getting married with an option that if it doesn't work, this will happen. I needed a partner who understood with me that my life, literally as it were, depended on it working. I mean, I can't be beaten twice in life. I didn't make the choices my parents made, but I was going to make the choice I would live with. So it made it such that, see, it's not everything that moves that could have moved me. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what you saw yourself as if you didn't meet certain minimum standard. And I'm going to give an example of some of those. You know, we live in a world where people vilify the faith. People vilify righteous living. People come against people who want to do things right, but turn around and complain when they face the consequences. You know, I see a lot of people who don't regard truth, who don't regard the basic things that I teach, flood our inbox, flood our DM, and just go with all manner of stories seeking counseling. You are not serious. I'm sorry. And I say that to a lot of people. Like, you are not even making the right choices, then you bring your dysfunctional consequence to me to fix or to God to fix. So a lot of people are running to God who chose what they are in. That's the truth. So I'll give you an example. Standards that people betray today, or people who are wise take. Number one, you must be a child of God. I've heard all manner of arguments. What if I've seen marriages that work? That's not my business. God says do not be unequally yoked. So I wasn't going to joke with that. Number two, not just a child, not just born again, because everybody's born again in this generation, but with the fruits of the Spirit. I could see your pursuit of God. I could see your heart. Number three, not just from my observation, from my discernment, because my discernment can see tomorrow where my eyes cannot see it. Those are three key things when you talk about the spiritual. When you now come to the physical, I must like you and love you. Those are two different things. Love is my predisposition to you that I chose, whether you act right or not. Like is that I have enough evidence in your conduct to be elated, to be excited, to be impressed, to be hopeful. Those things must be in place. Number three, I need to understand your record and history, not because I want to judge your past, but because I cannot relate to your future or until I understand where you're coming from. You know, when you begin to put these things in perspective, your emotions begin to get sense. Because sometimes you're emotional about people that you have no business being with. I was there. I was there. And I even said to my wife, even when we're getting married, that it doesn't matter how I feel about anybody after we marry, because feelings will come here and there, that my choice is my choice. And I'm not going to walk away from my choice. And this is how it works. Every time you subject your emotion to sense, it comes back to sense. And once it comes back to sense, what happens is you begin to get perspective as to what to do, what not to do, limits to cross, limits not to cross, boundaries never, ever, ever to touch. And if you don't get that, you miss the whole point. See, your destiny is in your hand no matter how you want to argue about it. Your destiny is yours. And your choices are going to pick it. Your choices are going to pick it. See, I didn't just show up here. I had to drive. I had to prepare for this. I had to find an angle that I could set this to record. Like you can see, I'm in a car. Sometimes I record in the bush, taking the walk, on the road, in the room. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's your choice. So I'm even speaking to somebody who may be watching me right now, who's in a relationship you know you should not be in, but you are so afraid. You are so tied. Give yourself sense. There's no soul tie or emotional connection that doesn't answer to sense. What you need to do is to expose yourself enough to sense. That's why I tell people, I read, I listen to messages, I pay attention to the word of God. Why? Our feelings are so fickle. They can be moved by stuff. I'll give you an example. This is lockdown. Even before lockdown, somebody gives you attention, you would have emotion. It's so simple. Somebody does this. Some people even get in dysfunctional relationships. Somebody's abusing you, your emotion, or abusing you physically. That's rubbish. That's rubbish. What future can you find in it? Don't be trapped in what you can choose to walk away from. That's my point. Why? There are people that when you get in their life, or when you weigh them on the scale of your own minimum standard, starting with God's minimum standard, before you put your own endorsed by God, you just realize this is the future. When you find such people, you begin to build with them. That's exactly what wisdom is. Wisdom is the discretion to choose your future above anything that would destroy or derail it. So I hope I made some conversation with you today that will get you thinking. Your future is literally in your hand. Your future is literally within the choices you would make. And I really hope, I really hope that 1 or 2 or 3 or 1,000 or 5,000 or 100,000 or even millions of people, single people who come across this video will think that your future is in your hands, and don't choose it lightly. Don't choose it emotionally. Don't choose it out of pressure. And may I conclude by saying, there are not good people out there for you. Stop wasting your time with the bad ones. God bless you.